Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
It's called electrolysis. Yeah, I know it's a big name, and it's not that someone puts a light bulb on your hand and then you light up. But it is using a wonderful technique, and I want to introduce you to Lise-Anne Jensen. Good morning, Lise-Anne.
Good morning, Anita. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm glad, and thank you, our audience, for listening. And it's called Serenity. I love that name. Where did you come up with Serenity?
I wanted people to have a feeling of calmness when they came to me, because it does. Sometimes people think it doesn't sound so pleasant, but I try to keep everything calm and relaxing and soothing. So Serenity just made sense.
That's a good name. That's true. It's funny. I was thinking, what a great name for a person, a woman, a child. Serenity.
Yeah.
They have all these unusual names. I don't think I've ever met anyone named Serenity.
Yeah.
Okay, you can keep that in mind in your next life. In your article, and I love your articles every month, Lise-Anne is an electrologist. And maybe we ought to start off just by explaining to people what that really is.
It's a form of hair removal, and I remove one hair at a time using a probe and electric current. So the hair follicle gets destroyed with desiccation and coagulation of the tissue on a microscopic level inside the follicle, and it keeps the hair from growing back.
And can anyone do this? Let's say that, we have so many people looking for jobs. Can they just get a week training and start to do this?
No, you can't. You need to be licensed and trained. You go to school and you get licensed by the Department of Health. They have some strict rules on how you operate. It's not the same as a cosmetology license or a facialist license or something like that. You actually take you take 2 state exams for the electrologist license, and then if you want to be certified in laser, you take a 3rd exam.
Well, I think that shows that this is more of a scientific application than, because I have facials and I have massages, but I have had electrolysis. And I have to tell you, that's what, when I first met Lise-Anne, I told her that. I said that was one of the best things that happened to me. I did it over a couple of years, as a matter of fact, and I would just share. I did it before, but I'll tell you again. I had all my underarm hair removed, which was, that was tedious in the sense, because it's a sensitive area, and it took you could only do it for 15 minutes at a time, at least when I was doing it. That was quite a few years ago, but it's wonderful. I never have to shave underneath my arms.
Right.
And I've always done, and I've had a lot done on my face and my eyebrows, and I have no hair that in the wrong places there, and it stays that way, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I've done waxing, and I've done a lot of that. Hair has been very important, and I think to most women, you see them using a razor, they cut themselves. This is like permanent hair removal, but done in a very scientific way. That's the way I look at this.
Right. It is permanent hair removal. It's the only permanent hair removal approved by the FDA. Laser is considered hair reduction. You'll hear them say it's permanent, but it is, by the FDA, it is a reduction. The studies that they did show that not all the hair is always removed. It can grow back on some people. You just don't know how you're going to react to it, but some people do have the hair gone, but some people after a few years say the hair grew back when they do laser. Laser doesn't always work on the face. The roots are very shallow. The laser just doesn't affect them as well. And so electrolysis is the only permanent hair removal approved by the FDA.
And I'll just, we'll continue this conversation as soon as I tell you this is Lise-Anne Jensen, and her company is called Serenity. It's actually Serenity Skin Inc. Something like that. Okay.
Serenity Skin Electrolysis.
Okay, good. But yet you're going to be you'll be fascinated by her because she has a lot of other ideas about even doing some other things after you get there. But let's stick to permanent hair removal, which we call electrolysis. Her phone number is 561-866-7400. You're very lucky to get that number. How'd you get that number?
I love that number.
That's
I
amazing.
just called. I got lucky. I
You
called
did
up
get
to
lucky.
get the number, and they had that one. I said, I'll take it.
You bet your life. 866-7400 in this area code 561. She's in Boca Raton. And I'll tell you, you were talking about removal with lasers. Before I met you, I went to some organizations and I was going to use the laser on my hair, but I have a lot of white hair. And they said it won't get rid of white hair.
Exactly, it won't.
And so that's very important. So now I am going to start my electrolysis back again, but I'm going to get those little white hairs gone, which was important because all of us women, we women who look in the mirror as we're aging, we always have these little guys, these little hairs popping up, and especially if you're on hormone replacement, because it's somehow, and I'm prescribed to take testosterone, and that increases it.
Yes, it will.
It does, but it's still better for other things. So I'll say, okay, you little guys, I'm getting rid of you, and
Right.
I've got Lise-Anne to help me do that. So Lise-Anne, when you meet somebody, well, I think the important thing to tell everybody is that you lie down, you sit. Explain to someone if they came in what you're going to tell them, what you're going to do to them.
Well, everyone's different, as I've explained before. So they come in, they fill out their paperwork. I ask about allergies, prescription medications, if there's anything topical that they're putting on their face, because there are some contraindications for topical prescription medications that you don't want to do electrolysis, at least not until they've stopped using it for a couple of weeks. So then I, check their skin and see where they're at. I can't always tell them how long it's going to take, but I can definitely treat them, and over time they will see the regrowth of hair, or the growth of hair. It's not regrowth, it's just the growth of hair diminish over time. So I always say it didn't happen overnight. You're not getting rid of it overnight.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
The other, when you were talking about, I was thinking about a hair. You think that when you pluck out a hair, for example, okay, I got it, that's it. Did you say, no, it's not?
No, it's not. Yeah, people think that because they pull it out and they see that nice fleshy end of the hair that, oh, I got the root and it's gone. Well, it doesn't work that way. Every hair has a blood supply attached to it that feeds it and helps it grow. So the blood supply is still there. The cells are still there. Just like when you cut yourself and you're healing, your body's going to regenerate healing in a cut. Well, your body's going to regenerate another hair in those cells, because the cells are still there that grow the hair and the blood supply is still there. So it just takes a little while before you see it emerge again. And then if you've been plucking, when it does emerge again, it's going to be a little thicker and a little stronger.
Well, something you just said, though, I wanted to ask. So why does it eventually not grow back, even if there's a blood supply there?
Why does it eventually not grow back?
When you said that you pluck it out, and you said because there are others and there's a blood supply, but when you're doing this electrolysis, why?
It cauterizes the blood supply.
Oh, it cauterizes. That's what I didn't get.
Yeah. It cauterizes the blood supply, so there's no more blood supply to that hair.
Yeah, that's the key, just what you said.
Right.
Okay, and so you're doing this with you said some very powerful glasses so that you could see the hair.
Yes, I wear medical loupes like a dentist wears that have magnification in them, so I see things that you never see.
It's like, oh my gosh, you have a whole hayfield here of hair. Right?
Sometimes I'm working and people say, I didn't know I had that many hairs. I said, well, I see them, so I might as well get rid of them for you while I'm here.
Yeah, I'm very excited about having you do this with me. In the time that we have, and we have quite a bit of time, we women talk about our hair problems. But In your article in the November issue, which just came out, folks, you'll be able to pick that up in a lot of places. But let's talk about men and hair. Where are they affected?
Usually their ears and the tip of their nose, the top tip of their nose. They'll get a hair or two there, and they keep pulling it out, and it also gets stronger and thicker, and they need to get rid of it, or they're always worried, and feeling, is it there? So they're always touching their nose. So they come in, a couple times, and they won't have that there anymore. And the ear hair, too. Get rid of the ear hair. Ear hair is really unsightly.
It is, and they don't really realize that. So that's why there's a lot of this little equipment that talks about nose hair, ear hair.
But this way you don't have to think about it. It's going to be gone. Otherwise you're always thinking about it. Oh, I forgot to trim the hair on my ears, or...
Well, this is a weird question for me to ask you. I always ask you weird questions, but as a gerontologist, I usually know a lot of reasons when things happen as one ages. But why do we get more hair in these weird places as we age? I mean, that nose hair wasn't on that guy when he was 20.
Right.
So do you have an answer for that?
Fluctuation in hormones as we age. Things just sort of get out of balance. And so when you have when the estrogen levels get lower and the testosterone levels stay the same or get higher, they're not balanced. The testosterone levels are what cause these different hair growths. And it's also interesting to know that different nationalities and ethnic backgrounds don't produce hair. I mean, we do know certain people don't get hair at all. Right. Yeah, the hair is really, it's a form of protection all over your body. On your head, it's considered a form of beauty, but on your body, on your arms and everywhere else, it's a form of protection. So if you've ever seen someone that had a cast on for several weeks and they take the cast off, usually the hair on their arm is much thicker, but it will fall out because you're bringing it back to its normal condition. But it grows that hair and gets a little more downy because it's protecting the friction of the cast on it as they're going around with this on their arm. The friction causes the hair to grow more because you're getting a lot of stimulation and the body's trying to protect itself.
Well, that's a good one. Every time you come, this is a whole subject on hair, which we usually don't ever do. I love having you on. I think you're the first electrolyst who's ever been on my show. And it's great how much in your articles are, so good because you've talked about a lot of things that most of us do not understand or know.
Right.
And so having you help them, a lot of women go and they have facials and they have their hair done, of course, and they have other things done to their body. But I don't think that the population, I don't even know what the percentage of people use electrolysis.
People are mostly waxing and using other forms of hair removal. And honestly, they would save money if they came and got electrolysis because over time, they're not going to have to go that often. I have people that when they start, they're coming every week, but then they go out to once a month. And then before you know it, I'm not seeing them for 3 months or once every 6 months or something when, a hair or a couple of hairs pop up and they're not having the problem that they used to have.
Well, just if people would think about this, women especially, hair under your arm. I mean, when you don't shave, be a lot of hair.
Yeah.
And I don't have hair anymore. I mean, It's gone. Maybe I have one hair
once
a year.
I'd say back when you did that, laser wasn't popular, but now that laser is out, most people are getting laser for underarm hair and things like, because it's dark hair. If you have dark hair, light skin, it's ideal. It's a large area. It works well. I think that laser and electrolysis can work in conjunction with each other. Once you have laser and there's only maybe you've had, 6 or 7 or 10 treatments, however many you've had, and you still have a couple of hairs, the best thing to do is come and have those few hairs taken out with electrolysis, and then you don't have any left. That's a good working relationship.
Yeah, it is.
And then if you have dark hair and gray hair mixed together, then get the laser, have the dark hairs taken out, and then come in and have all the white ones done after. It all works.
Yeah, it does. All right. Well, let me give you a phone number again. It's 561-866-7400. 866-7400. And the website, let me give you that. It's serenityskininc.com. serenityskininc.com. And Lise-Anne Jensen is licensed by the Florida Department of Health. And it's really important that you make sure that if you're going to do anything like this, that you go to someone who has a license and are certified and everything else you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. It's very important.
I don't know people who are doing this without it, but I'm sure you do. There every once in a while they find somebody out there, but it's really very medical. I must say this is very professional. So it's different if you're going to get waxing. But this is not waxing. And I want to go back to something that you were talking about with the waxing. Waxing hurts.
Yeah.
It's only a minute or a few seconds, but it does hurt. And I've had my face waxed a lot. Not my face, but my lips.
Right.
When I had my facials, I went to a woman who was, I guess she was Indian. And she was fabulous. But I had my lips and my waxed because here you have this gorgeous skin now and so I did do it, and that probably wasn't good too because that probably created more hair.
Yeah. Well,
and it hurts. So I have to say, having waxing on your legs, not so bad.
Right.
I've had it in my bikini line, but I really on my face it does hurt. And when you leave, sometimes it's a red mark all over your face.
It can actually, if you have thin skin, it can actually pull a layer of skin off. So just like when you skin your knee and it hurts, but you don't see anything when that happens. But the next day you have a little scab there, like a very light scab. That's the lymph, the layer and the lymph fluid coming up. The same thing can happen with waxing, whereas that doesn't happen with electrolysis. And also with waxing, sometimes people break out,
Yes.
with the little pimples and because it's irritating and it happens the next day, the same thing. And with electrolysis, you don't have those same issues.
Yeah, I do. It's funny. Every time I talk to you, I think of new things that I've done before and where it was. So I'm very excited about doing this because I really don't want that hair to be there. As one ages, and they have vision problems.
Right.
They can't see that hair anymore. And I think we talked about this before. My mother used to have electrolysis. That's how I first started doing this. And then as she aged, she would pluck out or whatever she would do. And then when she really wasn't in control of her own life, in a sense, I used to pluck her hair on her face because I knew she really would be very unhappy with it. And so just imagine as I age now, because it's funny, I'm always very open about this, but as I age, and if something happens, those hair will be there, and I hate those little hairs on my chin and my lips. I won't have that happen because you're going to now get rid of all of those for me.
Right.
And so this is something I hadn't really concentrated on, but since I've met you, I have. And I said, yes.
Oh, now you look in the mirror all the time and see them.
No, and I say yes. No, well, I've plucked them, but now I say yes. That's going to be something I've eliminated. And we ought to get any older women who have this problem. Think about this. You could, in over a year, 2 years, probably get rid of all that hair. You do it a slow time. It's not very expensive. And you would be really saved in a way. You didn't have to say, because I've had women say to me, it's terrible, all this hair, look at her, blah, blah, blah. But once you do this with them, so women, older women, stand up. Get over to Lise-Anne.
You've stopped plucking, right?
No, I haven't stopped
plucking. You can't pluck if you come for electrolysis.
I know, but I'm just starting with you. Once I start, I won't. but I haven't gotten to you, and I've had to do that. I know probably people don't even see those little hairs, but I feel it, and it's like having a cactus on my chin.
Wow.
So I don't want to do that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's like having a little piece of cactus there. Oh, my God. So now starting, we're going to do this, and I will be reporting to you, everyone. But please call her for an appointment at 561-866-7400. And if you're a man, she's very attractive, so it'll be fun having her look at you. So with her glasses on and making sure that you get rid of the hair. Now, I'll tell you another thing. We haven't talked about your eyebrows. A lot of women really do have eyebrows that need to also be either waxed, whatever they're doing. That's another good place for electrology, because I have that.
And then you never have to worry about them again either.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. I've been very fortunate that it did work there. I'm trying to wear. I actually had a bikini line done. I actually had the bikini line done. I really had a lot of stuff done years and years ago, and could probably still revisit that. But mostly is my face, and you're going to be my little face master.
Most like the Zen master, the face master. Right. That's good. I like that. I might have to use that somewhere.
Well, I'm glad that you've taken this this route. You'll see a nice little ad on page 18, but you'll see a very good article. It's called Unsightly Ear Hairs. Oh, my. And Lise-Anne said she's never been a writer before, but she's doing great. I learned so much every time you... Because you're really a scientist. See, that's why I keep putting that on you. I can go and get anyone to wash my hair and color it and do something, but those are not scientists. You're really a scientist because you're working with a machine. You're working with really looking at somebody's. It's like their inner body almost. It's the root of the hair, right?
Right. You have to be careful. I mean, you can hurt someone if you're not a good electrologist. So you do have to be careful, and you have to know what you're doing.
So when you want electrolysis, what do you do?
I wait for my friend from California to come visit me. Or I go visit her.
Right. So that's because there are people like you who do really good things. I always say, just like a massage therapist, I said, so when do you get a massage? She said, it's hard for me to find a good massage therapist.
Right.
Because I have one of the very best of all times.
Right.
All right, everybody. You're listening to, I'm Anita Finley. You're listening live at the studio in Boca Raton. And Lise-Anne I'm going to see Lise-Anne later on today. Ha. I'll have to report all that to you later. Anyway, thank you so much, Lise-Anne. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so remember, 561-866-7400. Make that call, and her website is serenityskininc.com. By the way, we put these recordings on YouTube. So if you missed it, or you want to hear it again, or have your friend hear it, just go to Boomer Times Presents, and you'll be able to see her as well as hear her show this morning. So we'll see you another time.
Thank you.